Hey, great day to y'all. I hope that you guys have been able to wake up grateful. And if you're feeling the brunt end of it like I am, well, I hope that you've been able to regain your gratitude if you couldn't find it by doing certain things that readjust and balance you out. You know, this year has been an extraordinarily hard year when I look at it and I reflect on it. And in all honesty, I can't wait to close this year out. You know, shit happens to us all. But I listened to a very great reminder yesterday when Erin Carthy was talking about, she was talking about taking the time to take that breather, you know. And it's true, because in our breathing patterns of life, we can only take in so much before we have to let it go. Right? Can't hold your breath forever. It was a really great reminder because I have been so determined to not feel what I've had to feel over the course of my life for the coming year that I have forgotten to take a pause. Way too much happening. And when you're living it, you forget why it's happening. Because you're living it and you're feeling all of it. So this is why it's so important to really have some skills and strategies and techniques that you use or that you learn to be able to restabilize through no matter what it is that you're living. And it's not easy for anybody right now. It really isn't. And a lot of people put on the mask and they shine to the world that they're okay when they're really not. Well, that's not me. But I do know what I've already made possible for myself. And to come out of all of that and still be a kind, caring, loving, genuine person to not only myself, but anybody I interact with, is the biggest success that anybody could have in this world after living what I've had to live. Even in the past year. When I reflect in these days about the past year, not only did I have to walk out of what I believed would be the rest of my life, and consciously knowing that I have to walk away in order for me to be okay, because I couldn't deny the reality of what it was doing to me. So from that point, well, that made me question everything that I believed about myself. That made me question all of my capacities, no matter how many times I had beat death. No matter how much I knew what was possible. I never believed possible that I would be guided so heartfully to invest all I did in something for it to turn out the way it did. So it even questioned my faith. Okay? The past week, it's questioned my faith. It's questioned everything. But it has to happen. And you see, when you feel shit like that, you gotta let it be. 60 to 90 seconds and your body readjusts. But if you deny yourself from feeling what I just felt, and allow it to flood through you, and allow yourself to have the emotional capacity and intelligence to let it do what it has to do, which is actually put you back in balance, because things are hard to deal with. They are. But that doesn't mean that we can't get through them. Okay? So the past week, I have just realized today, in reflection, why I feel the way I do today. Because you don't just wake up feeling the way I did today for no reason. So I had to stop and say, whoa. I don't wake up feeling like this for no reason. So I had to sit with myself and figure that out. Well, the past week, the past little bit, over the past couple of months, on top of me walking out of a relationship, while my grandmother's healing was my focus for her to pass peacefully. I mentioned it months ago. So I took that on. I have done all inspired actions humanly possible to get my logo put in place and to have content and creation of something that I can create an opportunity for myself. Because I can't deny the fact that I'm starting over. So there's a lot going on. And on top of everything going on, I've had a second grandchild. There's a lot of things happening. Okay? And most recently, knowing that my grandmother needed closure the way she did. Sorry. What I did is I had to heal her heart and the connection to my mom. So Christmas Day, I brought my mother and Christmas dinner to my grandmother's to have a Christmas meal. Well, my grandmother was so thrilled that she had expressed that we had really given her what she finally needed. And that it was one of the best Christmases she's ever had in her life, because she knew that it was really love-based. You know what I mean? It wasn't tradition-based. It wasn't, it was really heartfully love-based. But in that moment, after expressing that, my grandmother immediately had a massive stroke, which I had to kick in and apply all of my nursing knowledge with my grandmother, because my grandmother has a do not resuscitate order, and she also didn't want any medical intervention. So therefore, that left me there to handle the situation, but everything happens for a reason. So after that massive stroke, she kept having episodes, and which we believed were mini strokes, but they're not. They're actually seizures. So before we sat down for Christmas dinner, my grandmother had been asking me over the course of the past couple of months if I could go and live with her, because she knew she was coming to a point where she could no longer manage even being by herself. And I had been refusing, only because of the relationship that her and I have had all my life, which was not a good one. Why? Because she didn't agree with my mother's situation to begin with, never mind having a fourth child. So, in the healing of my grandmother's heart, she has admitted to me many times how much she resented even the thought of me before I even existed, and maintained that towards me up until just recently, until she really saw me for who I was. So that's hard to live with. And it's also hard to feel the effects of that while you watch her blessing everybody else freely. Well, it's funny because no matter how much she resented me and hated me and treated me that way, I've been there. I've fought for her to have a caregiver to stay at home. I have intentionally assisted her to face her regrets. I've assisted her to speak. I've made things possible for her to actually stay at home as long as she did. But Christmas Day, she begged me, please, I know you've been saying no, but I need somebody now to move in. Well, it's funny that the one that she resented and hated for literally 49 years would be the one now that she wants at her bedside while she's dying. Well, before the stroke, at the Christmas table that I had to nurse my grandmother through, before that happened, I had agreed then at that moment, yes, I will give you that peace in your heart, because no matter how she's treated me all my life, it doesn't take away who I am genuinely. I am a loving person, no matter how I'm treated, because that is the right thing to do. Well, it was really hard-hitting for me this morning to have to face the fact that being who I am has cost me my wellness, my health, my everything. Why? Because of my faith in what's giving me life. Because you can't put a price tag on that. So I operate from that, and I let that govern me. Well, what does that get me? Ridiculed, laughed at, not accepted by my own family. Okay? That's not easy to live with. And it's not easy to accept what's not right from somebody else and still maintain that, well, you know what? I still have to do what's right. And a lot of people say, well, you don't have to. No, I have to. Because that's a part of the agreement that I have to remain in this experience. So, it's a painful price to pay, I tell you. And this morning, with everything that I had to face and reflect in my life, because I've come to realize that after everything that happened Christmas Day, well, nobody knew that my grandmother had COVID on top of it all. So I ended up with COVID, and everybody who came in contact with my grandmother ended up with COVID also. So that's why I look dehydrated and feeling a little bit beat up right now, is because of the magnitude of the energy that I've had to supply in situations that I put myself in, clearly. But I'm kind of shocked that the COVID didn't knock me on my ass. It's just the reality of what I have to live did in looking at it all. Because even now, like this morning with my, last night I spent 6 hours trying to build a website. For this morning, all of that to go to shit. Like, this morning I had to really go, what is the fucking point? Really? Like, this endurance of life, just to be a kind, loving person in this world right now, the cost of what I have to endure to be that person, I questioned this morning with if any of it was worth it. See? So don't think just because you're spiritually awakened and you're enlightened and you're motivated for change and you come out here and you try to be loving and try to infuse as much love into the world as humanly possible, it's because your life is a piece of cake. Because it's not. Living like this makes your life a lot harder. Why? Because you're not scheming people. You're not manipulating people. You're not using people. So it takes a lot more effort to get ahead in the world. Especially when you're starting over again from after everything that I've had to come back from. And the most difficult part is that everybody remains seeing you for who you used to be 30 years ago. Like, it's fucked up. So this morning, and that's why I didn't come out and do a live yesterday, because honestly, I didn't have anything nice to say to the world. Because I'm just sick of how people treat each other in this world. And excuse it. And think they're entitled to do it. And it's not cool. And I've had a real shit show of a life. From birth. So yeah, I may have continued to make wrong choices in my life only because I never was given basic human necessities to thrive as a human being in this world. So I had to learn how to make better choices on my own. Self-accountability. No matter what cards I was dealt. That's the difference. And that's why I can handle a lot more than the average person. And that's why I don't see things the way another person does. Because I don't know another human being that has been able to do what I can do. Even physically. I'm a miracle walking. I know that. But you know something? Feeling the cost of being a walking miracle in this time? Is real too. And I get why people get stuck being fucked up individuals. Because that's the easiest thing to be in this world. I guess what I've had to live prepared me with the strength to stand strong with standing up for what's right. And continue to show people, hey, you know what? Everything and anything's possible. Well, you know something? All this shit has to stop. It really does. And this is why I need to close this year out. I can't handle anymore. Not this year. Nope. Seriously. I know what I do in this world. But I know what it also costs me to do it. Well, I do believe that the cost would be much greater if I wasn't who I was supposed to be. I'm well aware of that too. So this is why this year's got to close. Because not only am I trying to fix something worthy to leave behind should my time end, for who? My kids and my grandkids, because they matter. That's what my mission is. to make a stamp of love so great in this world that it clears passage, free passage, to walk freely through love for my grandchildren. Okay? Well, what I have to sacrifice in order to make that happen is well worth it. But I'm done carrying the cross. And that's the difference. And it seems like all my life I have been carrying the cross for other people's sins. You know what? That's okay. Because this year, today, after my experience today, I am putting that shit down. And I will never pick it up again. See? So, I will freely stand strong and say, I am done with anything karmic or with anything karmic creation attachments in this planet. I'm on a mission to produce Dharma, to clear passage. And if you don't know what that is, go look it up. But me, I'm done carrying the cross for the wellness of all. And it feels like what I've done all my life. Okay, well, what has it gotten me? It's gotten me exactly where I am today. Well, with how I woke up feeling today, fuck this shit. I'll never feel like this again. I refuse to. But there was a lot of just reasons why I woke up feeling exactly the way I did. Why? Because I've had to be that stand-up, loving person, making the necessary corrections needed to heal hearts. Because that's my truest purpose here. And that's why my life is extended. That's why I'm still alive. Because no matter what I've had to live in my life, or no matter what I've had to feel, there is nothing that's harder than overcoming everything that I've already had to. Not many can do that. Well, I woke up feeling the brunt end of it all. Why? Because I had to stand up in my power, in my balance, in my knowing, and in my ownership of knowing that, you know something? Doesn't matter what brand I create. Doesn't matter about all this work that I'm doing right now. None of that shit matters. None of it matters. There's really nothing in this world that matters other than your peace. Nothing. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Doesn't matter what you're trying to accomplish. None of it matters. And with all of my awareness and my learning and my self-mastery, because look, I've taken 3-month course to self-master. This is not something I've created. I actively took the learning to acquire self-mastery. Well, the learning never ends. And even with all my learning, the realization and really seeing things for what they are is really quite different when you're standing from the viewpoint that I am. You know, it's really difficult to find somebody who sees things the way that I do, because they may understand energy, they may speak the language of it, they may speak the soul language, but it's very rare to come across somebody who has, in totality, done the depth of the healing that I've had to master to just stay alive. I woke up this morning feeling very tired of enduring life. Yeah. This year needs to end. And I know I'm not alone when I feel like this, so it's okay. But you know what? In self-mastery, look, 60 to 90 seconds, you let it do what it has to do. You got to let things affect you in order to accept what they feel like, in order for you to make the biggest shifts in your life. I'm about to. I am the farthest thing from a victim of life, because I can't deny that I've fought with great effort and strength to stay alive. And I've sacrificed it all to abide the right way. Well, now I just have to feel some benefit. Hey, Erica. Erica says, you're not alone. No, I'm not. And you know what? That's why I had to come out and let the world know, like, hey, you know something? There's no shame in it. There's no shame in it. Because we've all had some fuck shit happen to us throughout our whole lifetime. And I know you get it. And I know that you're taking the same inspired actions to never feel like that again. Well, so am I. And you know what? I'm just tired of enduring it all. I need some... You know, I've had to produce my own internal joy to fuel my healing. Well, you know what? I am so tired of having to find only joy, love, meaning, and things that matter within my own being. You know what I mean? Because they say so within, so without, but I'm feeling a discrepancy in that right now with the shift of the ascension. I really am. Because no matter how at peace I'm feeling inside of me and I know what's possible, the magnitude of what I have to feel from others and in the experience, well, that I'm not controlling. You know? And it's a lot more than anybody wants to feel. Okay, and this morning, my big energy, I felt the totality of everything that I've ever come back from in my whole life, with a big question mark behind it all, going, as you wake up today to live my day the way I have to today, in other words, living and trying to fix my situation and stay focused and stay up, no matter what it is, no matter what situation, circumstance, or person I have to deal with. regardless of, no matter what I'm living, maintain that high vibe and that healing energy. Like, look, I caught COVID, but the difference of it all is when you maintain a high vibe, this is somebody with COVID. Whereas the flip side is my mom right now, it wiped her completely on her ass. But the minute I started to feel bad, I know what to do. Okay, frequencies, outside, hydrate. Like there's active things to heal myself immediately because I'm a healer. So because I know how to heal myself, this is what it looks like. But a little bit dehydrated. That's all because of all the energy transfer. And coming to the terms with, I got to stop and take a pause. This is really what I have to do right now. There are so many things that I want to do because I am so adamant about fixing what I've had to live and totally just having a fresh start and creating for myself a life that I look forward to waking up, living. Because I don't feel that excitement. I really don't. I know my mission. I know my purpose. I know what I've endured. I know what I've overcome. I know what's possible. But at this point, I need that fresh start. So that fresh start has to be with this new year because it can't be any other way. I know emotionally, spiritually, physically, I cannot endure another year of what I've already had to live. I can't. I can't say can't because everything is possible. But let me put it this way. I refuse to. I refuse. And it's even harder when you sit back and you see right through every single mask that somebody wants to wear in front of you. It fucks with you even more than an average person. And then your reactions to these people wearing masks, well, you become the bad person. When no, their intentions are fucked up. They're wearing masks with you. They're not showing you who they really want you to see. Well, you know what I mean? Like people try to hide. Because of who I am, it doesn't work with me. So what does that do? Well, I see the bullshit people feed me. That's why I cut conversations short. There's only very few that I can have a conversation with because I'm too straight up. But if I can't be truthful, well, then I can't heal myself. You can't be lying to yourself and expect to heal yourself. So, you know what blocks you from the truth? Is when you start telling little white lies. Because then it becomes that, well, you get into the habit of just meaninglessly telling little white lies, which accumulate to you blocking yourself from the ability to speak the truth. But when you speak the truth on a soulful level to those people that are wearing masks, well, you become the shit disturber and you become the one with a problem. Nah, it's because I see through the bullshit. See? So the magnitude of that too makes my life a lot harder. Because if I stay operating from how I was trained by life, and by my family, and by my life experience, you know what that would be? I need you guys to understand the magnitude of the training that I had to correct within myself. My training to everything that threatened me in life, since I could walk, was to pounce and pound. That was the way you needed to handle it. Okay? That was the conditioning of my life. That's the basis of my bring it on attitude. But now, I don't pounce and pound. You see? This is why I talk about inner work and the corrections of what has been installed in us to make us live what we've had to live. Well, to the magnitude of that reality is the magnitude of this. Unless it's corrected, it automatically creates itself, because patterns don't correct until corrected. Well, I've come to realize this morning, which was the biggest biggest thing that hit me this morning was this. That within even self-mastery and all of my abilities and tapping into my highest potential and everything that I've projected and done for correction and everything that I've had to correct generationally, ancestrally, karmically, trust me, it's real. Well, I did it all. So this is why I've had to feel the magnitude of what I've had to feel. And this is why the importance of